tonight on the Final Play.
Kamara starts in the slot. Passes to Thomas. He's gone. Touchdown, Saints.
The Saints answer the call and take down the undefeated Rams to reroute the road to the Super Bowl through New Orleans.
I felt like coming in, we were battle-tested, and it served us well.
We've got extensive reaction to the Black and Gold's bold statement, including Michael Thomas's monster day and analysis from Deuce McAllister.
So I thought that they hit on every cylinder. You know, when you go back and look at it, if you can hold them from not even getting that field goal to get any momentum going into the half, then it may have been a different third quarter.
Plus,
still on the run, he is gone. Touchdown, Alabama.
Another Alabama beatdown has the Tigers searching for answers. We'll recap all the action from a big weekend of college and high school football, and we'll check in on the Pelicans.
From Fox 8 Sports, this is the Final Play, sponsored by your Southern Quality Ford dealer, built Ford tough, and Nissan.
Welcome into the Final Play. I'm Juan Kincaid. To be the best, you have to beat the best, and both the Tigers and Saints had their chance this weekend as Louisiana became the center of football's universe. Inside the Dome today, the Saints made it a three-peat against the Rams. For the third time in franchise history, they handed the Rams their first loss of the season when the Rams were the last undefeated team in the NFL. Sean Vazan gets us started tonight from the Dome.
It was the type of game that lived up to its billing. The undefeated Rams visiting the one-loss Saints inside the Superdome on Sunday. And in this four-quarter heavyweight battle for NFC supremacy, it was the Saints that outlasted L.A. 45-35.
Each week there's instances where the game unfolds differently, and today certainly it unfolded in a certain manner.
The start went exactly as the script of two of the league's most potent offenses would suggest. They wasted no time scoring points. Both teams scored touchdowns on their first two possessions. The Saints struck first when Alvin Kamara ran in the first of his three touchdowns. The play was set up by a fourth down call that looked to be a Taysom Hill pass to Drew Brees. But Hill thought better of it and ran it for the first down. The first momentum shift came when Mark Ingram fumbled deep in Saints territory in the second quarter. But the defense responded with their first stop of the game. And instead of kicking the field goal to go up 17-14, Sean McVay called the fake. But Craig Robertson ran down Johnny Hecker, who came up just inches short of the first down. The Rams challenged, but the referees upheld the call.
You're not thinking that they're going to run a fake in that situation, but it was just a play that I just reacted to and just fortunate enough to make it, and just a big play for our team. I was just happy to make it.
From there, the Saints caught fire and scored 21 unanswered points. One on a pass from Brees to Traquan Smith. The second came on a masterful play action from Brees to Ben Watson, who used his touchdown celebration to announce to the world that he and his wife are expecting not one, but two more additions to the family.
I usually try to hold up 5 for my 5 kids, and we had a few miscarriages over the past year. It's been really tough. We said we'd try one more time, and my wife's pregnant, not just with one baby, but with 2.
Alex Anzalone picked off Jared Goff one play later, which set up a Kamara 1-yard plunge and gave the Saints a 35-14 lead. But the Rams were undefeated for a reason and came charging back with 21 unanswered points of their own. And when Jared Goff connected with Cooper Kupp on the crossing route for a 41-yard touchdown, then hit Gerald Everett for the 2-point conversion, things were all tied up at 35 with 9 minutes to go. But that's when the Saints stepped up and slammed the door shut. First with the Will Lutz 54-yard field goal. Then Brees connected with Michael Thomas on a 3rd and 7 for a 72-yard touchdown. It was his 12th catch of the day for a Saints franchise record, 211 yards.
Came up with some big third down catches. Obviously, none bigger than the one at the end of the game there. Just a big-time player who's always ready to make the big-time plays.
Joined now by Saints Hall of Famer and Fox 8 Saints analyst Deuce McAllister. Deuce, they wanted this one, you could tell. But still, the Rams were undefeated for a reason, a great team. I just think overall it was a great team win for the Saints here today.
Really good win when you look at it overall, the big picture of everything. And I don't want to say it's playoff seeding at this point. There's a team up in North Carolina that you're going to have to see at some point. But, for them to handle the current opponent, which was the Rams, and, obviously undefeated, you have them at home. You played them last year. They did beat you last year. So for them, I thought particularly how they came out, really on fire, being able to score defensively. You're creating turnovers. You get a fourth down stop on the fake field goal. So I thought that they hit on every cylinder. When you go back and look at it, if you can hold them from not even getting that field goal to get any momentum going into the half, then it may have been a different third quarter.
But I think none of that even happens without, to me, outstanding play by the offensive line. That's one of the best front fours in all of football, and that was before they added Dante Fowler. So I thought the offensive line really, really played well today.
Well, Aaron Donald, he makes 2 plays in the backfield, and it's like he's just cruising, walking. But the offensive line, they gave Drew a lot of protection. Drew was able to climb in the pocket, and when Donald was disruptive, hey, look, let me find a check down guy and get him the football. And so he didn't destroy you completely offensively. But, yeah, I thought, even when Teron got banged up a little bit, he was a little slow, and Flower was able to get pressure on Drew on the edge. But outside of that, I thought the offensive line was outstanding as well.
I'm thinking of that pass Drew had to Traquan Smith, where he was able to kind of methodically go through his reads. The press protection was outstanding. Speaking of Drew, look, fountain of youth or something. 39 years old, still looks like he's 29 and just throwing the ball maybe better than he's ever had in his entire career. Another great game for Drew Brees.
Well, another great game, but you think about it, he had 2 rushes, for 18 yards, and it was cover 2 man. Yeah. And so, nobody really open, and he's able to step up in the pocket. He can take off for a first down, and so that's him just understanding the situation and them not really thinking that he's going to run, and he does take off and run and picked up, critical first down or critical yardage in that situation. And so for him, he's playing really, really well. And like on that Traquan, that's probably the third option, him coming over on a late dig route for a touchdown.
Defensively, obviously, the Rams moved the ball. They're an explosive offense, but I thought they made timely plays. And the one thing they did well, read the stat line, Todd Gurley, 13 rushes, 68 yards, and a touchdown. I'll take that any day of the week.
All day. Gurley is averaging right at 100 yards as far as carries, rushing yards was concerned. You were able to slow him down, made him have to be a pass receiver. And look, he's a tough cover. Saints did an outstanding job of covering him, chipping him, making him, I don't want to say, irrelevant, but you were able to slow him down enough where he couldn't be the focal point of that offense.
Did you think Drew was going to catch that pass when Taysom was about to set up to throw it?
I don't know if Drew was going to catch it, because actually what happened was he got chipped by Aaron Donald, and so that slowed him down, and that allowed for the linebacker to kind of hang and stay at home. So Taysom did an outstanding job of pulling it back down and picking up that first down.
Alvin Kamara, 3 touchdowns today. I say this all the time about him. There's an ease about him. He just makes it look so easy. What can you say about Alvin Kamara?
Whoa. It's just like, the guy is not a 230, 240-pound runner, but, the tackles that he breaks, it's almost like he's got water or oil on him where, guys just slide off of him and they can't bring him down. And he just does an outstanding job of body control, being able to, avoid the big hit. The one thing I don't like, and he knows it, is the hurdling. Yeah. I think, at the end of the day, it's just not worth that exciting of a play, because the impact of your body hitting that ground, I don't like it, but hey, it works for him.
Saints are 7-1, 7 straight. They're at the halfway point in their season. How do you feel about this team as we kind of approach the second half here?
Keep chopping wood. Keep chopping wood. Because there's room for improvement. There's room for improvement for you. And, don't turn the football over. Play good defense. Play great defense. Outstanding in the red zone. Create turnovers. You're getting better.
And each week, it provides a new test, but they'll enjoy this one today. Deuce, thank you, sir.
No problem. Thank you.
We'll hear much more from Deuce beginning tomorrow morning with his Black and Gold Rewind at 8 a.m., followed by his 2-minute drill at 5, and we'll wrap up the day with Deuce on the Black and Gold Review Show at 10:35 Monday night. We'll have more on the Saints coming up, including the day that Michael Thomas had against the Rams secondary.
Watching the Final Play.
Our Fox 8 Catch of the Week comes from the guy that announced the soon arrival of another child after he caught a touchdown. This is not that play, but Benjamin Watson caught a bunch of big balls today. None with a greater degree of difficulty than this one. Good coverage, even better catch by Watson. And it's our Fox 8 Catch of the Week. And what was once considered old was made new again by Michael Thomas today. Joe Horn grabbing the flip phone after scoring a touchdown back in a game in 2003 against the Giants. Michael Thomas playing copycat 15 years later. We're just not sure if Thomas had his own flip phone or just borrowed that one from Joe. But it certainly was a talking point in the locker room after the game, and Thomas had himself quite a day as well. Here's Chris Hagan.
It took a record day to beat the team that had a perfect record. Michael Thomas delivered with a personal and franchise-best 211 yards, including the 72-yard touchdown to all but ice the game.
Alvin was on an underneath primary route. Mike was through it. And so when you stop the film, the double came on the low route, Alvin, and Mike had the single with no safety help. So ended up being a real good read by Drew.
But just as important as that play were all of the third down catches as well. The Breeze to Thomas connection was responsible for 3 third-down conversions in the second half, all of them huge to keep a dangerous Rams offense on the sideline. Most notable, he did it all with one of the league's best corners, Marcus Peters, following him all over the field.
Well, that was the plan. They were going to travel Marcus to him, and that was fine by us. You know, we thought we really liked that matchup a lot.
You know, he's a great player. He's a competitor. Of course, those guys trust him, and whenever you shadow a guy all game, it has to be respect. And you know, he's one of those guys you have to be a technician to go against.
But even after all of that, the only thing anyone wanted to ask Michael Thomas about after the game, what was up with the vintage Joe Horn celebration, pulling the cell phone right out of the pads. While it wasn't very timely to pick up a penalty in such a tight game, it does speak volumes to the swagger and confidence that this team plays with.
You got to have fun. You know, all these guys are catching touchdowns and celebrating with each other, having fun, getting the crowd involved. I felt like, you know, I had an opportunity to make it happen, put the game away and make a call.
Reporting on the NFC leading Saints, I'm Chris Hagan for the Final Play.
Up next, all talk and no action best describes LSU's performance against Alabama last night, how the Crimson Tide were able to walk out of Tiger Stadium with a convincing win over LSU. In the meantime, we bring you the Final Play fan camera. To submit your passionate picture, send an email to Pix, that's P-I-X, at fox8live.com.
You're watching the Final Play.
Saturday night in Tiger Stadium, chance of rain, never. And it feels like LSU's chances of ever beating Alabama ever again are about the same as those rain chances. Last night in Baton Rouge, the Crimson Tide played like the #1 team in college football, while LSU left their fans with far more questions than answers about the future of the program. Garland Gillen has more.
For the second time in a row at home, LSU was shut out by the Alabama Crimson Tide. The Tigers could only muster 12 yards rushing in the contest. On the other side of the ball, Tua Tagovailoa throws for 295 yards.
He's a great player. He made some tremendous plays tonight. And the guys covered, and one he threw down the sideline in that run. I mean, the guy's one of the best players I've seen. We fought, man. We had 16-0. You know, we fought. They made some plays, but we stopped them in the red zone. We were fighting our tails off. We just didn't get no help from the offense, man. We couldn't get nothing going, and you could feel it then. Guys got discouraged a little bit.
Yeah, you got to give credit to them. They had a really good game plan. Their D-line played very well. But at the end of the day, we just didn't make really any plays to win the game. I mean, the most disappointing thing is that you didn't score any points. That's the most disappointing thing. They were really, really good. Like I said, they had a really good game plan. They executed it to a T, and you know, we just weren't tough enough, physical enough, or ready enough to make the plays.
In one locker room, there's despair and a team looking for answers. For the Tide, everything is just clicking.
I think it speaks a lot about our coaching. You know, the coaches prepare us day in and day out. You know, and it's a testament to what we're doing out there on the field. You know, and then when you have guys like the guys that we have, O-line to the, you know, the slots, the receivers, the running backs, I mean, it just all works, you know, for the good of everyone on the team.
We had a game plan, you know, of how we wanted to run the ball, and we weren't really attacking any particular person, you know. You know, a lot of the RPOs were things that we threw today, you know, based on whatever they played. And sometimes we ran it, sometimes we threw it. And Tua does a really good job at that. So very instinctive, and we got some hard guys to cover.
We're now joined by Jeff Duncan of the TomSPicayune-NOLA.com. 576 yards of total offense for Alabama. Tua, 225 yards passing. Just a complete dominating effort by the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah, you know, I said before this game that I didn't know if LSU would ever beat Alabama as long as Nick Saban's coaching this team again. And I don't think what we saw tonight would, you know, invalidate that opinion. I really felt like Alabama dominated on both sides of the line of scrimmage, and LSU just had no answer. I mean, it was all downhill for this team after the Tiger Walk.
Devin White didn't come in until the second half. By that time, the game was over with. 6 punts and 6 possessions for LSU in the first half. They were down 16-0. It was over with.
Yeah, I mean, the incredible atmosphere, pregame, electric energy on the field, and then Alabama just came out and methodically took over this game and took the crowd out of it, and LSU just had no answer. They got dominated up front on both sides of the ball, could not run the ball at all against Alabama. You've got to be able to run the ball, and consequently they ended up being one-dimensional on offense, and that allowed Alabama's defense to pin back their ears and come after Joe Burrow. It was just a long night for the LSU fans and for the LSU Tigers.
Jeff, what does it do to the mindset of LSU? Where last year, Ed Ogeron in post-game press conference at Alabama said, we're coming and we're not backing down, and this is the effort they put out against Alabama.
Well, I think it was a wake-up call for LSU, and you could hear it in Ed Ogeron's voice in the post-game press conference. He basically said, look, we got to get better personnel. We got to get better offensive and defensive linemen. I think it really was surprising to him that they got dominated so badly in the trenches. I mean, this is a former defensive line coach. Ed Ogeron played along the defensive line, so he is a guy that, you know, basically built his team up front, and they got dominated tonight. It's going to take a while for this one, for the LSU Tigers to get over this one, because it was such a thorough domination. I mean, this is the second time now they've been shut out in Tiger Stadium in a row. I mean, LSU hasn't scored against Alabama now since 2014 here in this stadium, so that's pretty sobering.
Should fans throw away their LSU stock? I mean, they still have only 2 losses. A lot of people thought they were going to lose 5 games this year. If they win out 10-2, it's not too bad, correct?
No, I think that's a great point, Garland. I mean, this team still has a lot in front of it. No one thought they would be in the top 5 in the country and have a chance at even a matchup like this high-profile matchup. So there's a lot left to be gained. This team was building towards 2019 anyway, so I think everything they've done this year is lagniappe. It's only going to give them more experience, and I think they're going to get in a great New Year's Day bowl game if they finish this thing off the right way, and I expect they will. I think this team's going to bounce back. I don't think this loss will linger with them. I really don't.
Jeff Duncan, TomSPicayune-NOLA.com. Back to you.
Up next, break up the wave. Tulane knocks off another top team in the American Conference, taking one step closer to being bowl eligible. We'll take a look back and wrap up the rest of Saturday's college football action when the final play continues.
You're watching the Final Play.
Just when you think the Tulane Green Wave are down and out and thinking about a bowl game for next season, they pull a rabbit out of the hat. And only the South Florida Bulls didn't enjoy the magic show. They came in 7-1 and thinking about future matchups with Temple and Central Florida. In other words, they overlooked the Greenies, and Tulane made them pay for it by running all over the Bulls. 368 yards rushing, jumping out to a 34-3 lead, and cruising to a 41-15 win. It was Tulane's first win in the state of Florida since 1977, and the first time they've won back-to-back road games since 2007.
Just making sure I do what I need to do as a quarterback for this team. Just going through my reads. My read went down, I went out, and you know, Coach Fritz tells me, be a playmaker when it's asked to you. So, you know, just doing that when it's asked of me, doing what I have to do, running past anything I have to do. So just, you know, just being there when the team needs me most.
Over in Hammond, Southeastern did what you're supposed to do on Senior Day, send the seniors out with a win. And it came against the conference-leading McNeese State Cowboys. The Lions' defense just too much for McNeese, holding them to just 187 total offensive yards. They also had 5 sacks and held the Cowboys to just 10 first downs in the game. The 23-6 win was the Lions' 4th straight against McNeese in Hammond and their 5th win in the last 7 meetings against the Cowboys. And Nichols got another conference win, going on the road and whipping up on Houston Baptist 41-20. The Colonels' offense was unstoppable and balanced. 616 total offensive yards, 313 rushing, 303 passing. Meanwhile, UL Lafayette came up short on the road at Troy, losing 26-16. So week 11 rolls around like this next weekend. Tulane will try and take one more step to becoming bowl eligible when they face East Carolina. Nichols will be at home to battle Stephen F. Austin. Same goes to ULL and Georgia State. Southern's back at it following a bye weekend. They'll take on Arkansas Pine Bluff. And the LSU Tigers will be on the road taking on Arkansas. It'll be Southeastern's turn to take a breather before their annual Thursday nighter against Nicholls State. Our high school play of the week takes us back to overtime between St. Charles Catholic and St. James. Wildcats pass is deflected, picked off by big number 63, Jordan Brown. Comets get the 13-7 win over St. James. And here are this week's Player of the Week nominees, and it's all about the quarterbacks. Destrehan QB J.R. Blood, 4 touchdown throws. He ran for another. Carver quarterback Quincy Curry had 3 touchdown strikes. He also ran 2 in himself. And Landry Walker quarterback Jaquan Dorsey accounted for 4 touchdowns, 3 two-point conversion runs. Log on to our website, fox8live.com/player to vote. And voting ends on Wednesday. In 5A, Destrehan's the 2 seed, while John Ehret is the 4 seed. Carr and Easton are 1-2 in the 4A bracket. Lakeshore in at number 5. In Class 2A, the A-Meet Warriors are the 2 seed, and in 1A, Kentwood's a 3 seed, while the defending champs, West St. John, are at number 5. No surprise in Division 1, where John Curtis is tops, Rummel's 3rd. In Division 2, St. Charles Catholic is a 2 seed, De La Salle a 4 seed, Archbishop Hannon in at number 5. And in Division 3, Country Day and Newman are the 2nd and 5th seeds respectively. The NBA season is barely 2 weeks old, and it's already been a roller coaster. For the Pelicans, all of the momentum they got from a 4-0 start has been erased by what they've done since then. They've lost 5 straight games, including last night's 109-95 setback in San Antonio. It was the first time the Pels had scored less than 100 points this season, which is surprising since they've been dealing with so many injuries. Anthony Davis, Elfrid Payton, E'Twaun Moore, all 3 have missed some time during their current road trip, which will wrap up with a Monday night meeting in Oklahoma City against the Thunder. And that's our show for tonight. For all of us here at Fox 8, I'm Juan Kincaid. Fox's NFL Game Day Prime is coming up next, and we hope you'll join us again next Sunday night for the Final Play.
From Fox 8 Sports, this has been the Final Play.